Oh, and of course, I've got the. Bro, what in the world? Seriously. Might have to do away with that. Just go with the regular green screen. Hopefully. So we got the. What's up, Josh? It's election day here. I cannot wait for this to be over with. It seems like this election has went. I've taken. Hold on one sec. There we go. All right. So it seems like this election has went like forever. Oh my God, I cannot wait for this day to be over with. I don't care. And I'll be honest with you 100%. I don't like either candidate. I like Trump's positions better than Harris's positions, but Trump comes with his own bullshit, such as the tariffs, along with his diarrhea of the mouth. So I don't, to me, I'm more concerned with how the House and the Senate races go. Like, that's where the power is in this country. Like, the president's just a mouthpiece. If he or she has the House and the Senate, well, they can get whatever agenda they want passed. So for me, it's more important who gets the House, who gets the Senate. If the Senate flips and Trump wins, holy crap, things are going to get interesting. If Democrats take and win the House and they keep the Senate and Harris wins, holy crap, things are going to get interesting because both of them, with their policy points, Jesus Christ. What up, dude? How's it going, man? Cheers, cheers. Hope everybody's doing good today. So it's interesting. Yeah, that's, bro. I'll tell you what, y'all get recreational cannabis that, in Florida. Y'all are Jacksonville's like a 9 hour trip. So I might make a few trips down to Florida. Alex, what's up, homie? Homie, 9 times out of 10, when you call, I'm asleep at that point, or I'm already laid in bed and I'm getting ready for bed, or I'm getting ready to go to sleep. Like I'm winded down for the end of the day. So um, I keep weird hours anymore. Like I'm normally down by like 8:30 at night, and I'm back up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm up to like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'll take a nap till about 2 or 3, and be back up till 8 or 9. So a lot of times, whenever you take and call, I'm asleep. Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like for me, I'm more. It's more interesting to me, like the way politics have changed here in the U.S. in the last 20 years is mind boggling. Like there's always been back and forth and stuff like that. The last time I think that things have been so polarized, you got to take, at least in this country, you got to take and go back to the Civil War or pre-Civil War. That's how, I mean, it's at that point in this country, and you cannot have a conversation hardly about politics anymore in this country. And it's either you support this candidate or you support this candidate. And it's like, well, I kind of like shit from both parties, but as far as economically speaking, I like where Trump's sitting with things better than I like where Harris is sitting with things. And I don't like the fact that we're the whole immigration thing for me is what kind of kills it with Harris. But that and the price controls on groceries. I'm sorry, price of groceries is too high, but you do price controls, and you're really going to fuck the market. It's it's not healthy. We're almost at a tipping point in this country as far as our finances are concerned. You put a price control on anything, put a price control on medications, not on groceries. Price control on medications. So I seen where, which I'll pull this over and I'll take and bring this up, present, share screen, share screen, share the screen. So it looks like Joe Rogan has endorsed Donald Trump after his conversation with Trump and his latest conversation with Elon Musk. So I found that interesting because up to now, like he's been a Bernie bro, basically. Like he was a big Bernie supporter of the last two elections. All right, don't be intellectually dishonest. Don't do that because everybody everywhere are immigrants. Their ancestors wound up where they're at for the most part, 9 times out of 10, because their tribe went from one place to another. Don't fucking be intellectually dishonest. We've been here, people have been here for over 200 years. At this point, if you were born here, you're not a fucking immigrant. Like, don't be intellectually dishonest. Don't do that. Like, let's have an actual conversation, but don't be dishonest about stuff, right? You're taking and using stuff from way back. Well, what about the people of French descendancy that are there that are in the UK, or people that are other descendancy that are in other places? Like, don't do that. That's intellectually dishonest as hell. Don't do that. Men's cheap, women's safe and free. Yeah, and see, that's one of the things for me that's like, man, like between his, I understand the isolationist viewpoint. He's wanting to take and get things strong with the American economy, American jobs, American manufacturing. He's wanting to get all that back strong, but you can't take in, you can't cut your nose off to spite your face. And for some of his stuff, like with the tariffs, with the NATO stuff, like you got to take and have a strong, you got to have a strong wall of defense in Europe, so in case anything encroaches from like China, or if Russia decides they want to take and be Billy Bob badass again, you can't just allow that. So see, the housing is going to wind up sorting itself out here shortly, because there's a lot of markets that have been racing that are now starting to take and see stagnation and prices falling because people have stopped moving there. So cheers to you. Hopefully everything's going good for you. So it's going to be interesting, I think, regardless of who wins. I'm just interested to take and see Harris Hawk Tua. I'll say this: whoever wins, like I said at the beginning, the House and the Senate races are what's kind of interesting to me. All right, so look, for all his faults, under Trump, we didn't go into any new wars. We didn't start any new geopolitical wars under Trump. We had the Abraham Accords that happened between Israel and Palestine, or Hamas, and peace was there for the last 2.5 years of his presidency. You didn't see people playing dumb shit geopolitically under him. So I don't like a lot of his stuff, but he has good points to take and say that there's nothing good that would come out of it. Like you're not being truthful. He took and passed a law to take and actually, or he took and negotiated with big pharma here to take and cap the price of insulin at $35. Biden took and knocked it down and then reenacted it and tried to take and claim credit for it. Don't be disingenuous in here. Don't. Because I'll go point for point with you. Don't do it. Like, don't do it. Does he have bad points? Yeah, he's got warts. There's no two ways about it. Like, if you vote for Trump, you have to hold your nose because he's not a perfect candidate. It's just he's got a cult-like following I don't understand. He's like the Republican Messiah. It's the weirdest shit ever. half of his followers, I think, would drink a fucking Kool-Aid at some kind of faraway camp in a different country if he asked them to. Like, literally. It's that kind of weirdness. So, what's that got to take and do with the price of tea in China? Like, I don't understand it. Okay, so they can bring up some polls real quick. Take and bring up some polls real quick. It's interesting with the whole he has no chance, because that's similar rhetoric to what we heard the first go around in 2016. I remember very clearly it being, oh, Clinton has this in the bag, and we see what happened. There were tears, literal tears on TV that night. So, just because, let's see, just because there is no major conflict with Trump doesn't mean nothing. So, let me ask you a question. All right, so, all right, we'll have this conversation, right? We'll have this conversation. So let's say under Trump, right? It's not anything to do with him due to the fact of there not being any major conflicts. Well, then, is it Biden's fault that we've got so many different conflicts that have either popped off or are ready to pop off, like we've seen in the Ukraine, or like we've seen in Israel, or like we're seeing with China and Taiwan, like the tensions rising there? I mean, if you're going to be, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Like, if you want to take and go this route, so there's strength. You take and show strength, people are more willing to take and be like, all right, let's not try anything crazy, because we don't know what the mindset of this mofo. He talks tough. Maybe he's ready to take and do some stupid stuff. I mean, you drop a Moab on somebody, people tend to take and play nicer. Just throwing that out there. And here's my question: in what way? Because I'm interested to take and hear opinions on why she's a better candidate. Because we've seen what's happened with her as a vice president. She was appointed border czar, and I'll bring up video for anybody who goes, no, she wasn't. I'll bring up video that they've tried to take and put down on that stuff. Yes, she was. And we see what's happened. Like, and her policy points, you want to take and make a pathway for citizenship for people that come here for amnesty, I have no problem with that whatsoever. Let's not make it wholesale. All right? Let's not make that wholesale. You got to take and have a test of some kind. Like, are you willing to assimilate? All right, cool. Well, if you're willing to assimilate, the problem is we got so many that come in that aren't willing to assimilate, and they come in. One of the reasons why they've been housed in hotels and stuff like that is because a lot of them that take and come for amnesty, they were losing them. They would take and be given a date, and they'd be released, and then they wouldn't show up for the date. Like, we got to take and so they started putting people up in hotels that are here for amnesty. That's 90% of the people that are put up in hotels in New York and Chicago. Almost a billion alone for New York in 2023 and between 2023 and 2024 from FEMA and their shelter plan. So, again, I don't see her as a better candidate. I see her as the only candidate since Joe Biden took and won the primary and then backed out, and that's what they gave her. That's what they gave the Democrats. She doesn't inspire a whole lot of confidence for me. All right, Kamala Harris policies. Campaign website. All right, let's see. Let me bring this up. present. Share screen. Share screen issues. No, I do not want to subscribe. Let's see. Middle class, daughter of a working mom. Okay. Cut taxes for middle class families. Let's see. Expand the child tax credit to provide $6,000 tax cut to families with newborn children. Believe no child in America should live in poverty. Unlike Donald Trump, Vice President and Governor Walz are committed to ensuring no one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay more in taxes. Chart a new way forward by making our tax system fair and prioritizing investment innovation. They will ensure the wealthiest Americans, the largest corporations, pay their fair share. So I'm always hesitant on stuff like that. Pay their fair share. They already take and pay more for the most part. Now there are subsidies that they take and get from the federal government, which need to be cut out. That offsets the taxes they pay. That shit right there needs to be cut straight the fuck out. No subsidies. No corporate welfare. They need to do away with that. Ensure the wealthiest Americans large pay the fair share. So take action to build a middle class while reducing the deficit. Includes rolling back tax cuts for wealthiest Americans, enacting a billionaire minimum tax, quadrupling the tax on stock buybacks. But if you quadruple tax on stock buybacks, that's not going to take and do what you think it's going to do, because that's going to ensure less people that take in half taxes that can do tax buybacks you're going to take and see a dip in the stock market. That's going to hurt economically. That's going to take and lead to a lot of trickle down crap whereas for Republicans, the trickle down shit just doesn't work. With this, a trickle down would be a whole lot of people losing their jobs. Other reforms ensure very wealthy are paying by the same rules as the middle class. Under her plan, the tax rate on long-term capital gains for those earning $1 million a year or more will be 28%, because when the government encourages investment. But if you're taking and charging 28% on capital gains over $1 million, that's not encouraging investment. That's not encouraging. That's okay. Make rent more affordable. See, and this is a thing for me. See, let's see. Harris has always stood up for renters, homeowners. Attorney General of California, she took on the big banks to deliver $20 billion for middle-class families who face foreclosure and helped pass a homeowner bill of rights, one of the first of its kind. Vice President Harris knows that a home is more than a house, represents financial security and opportunity to build an intergenerational wealth, but for too many Americans, homeownership is too far out of reach. Just do away with the ability of corporations and investment funds to take and buy houses. If they can't buy real estate, then you don't have all the houses being bought up in these neighborhoods and these investment firms taking and owning these houses that take and drive up the price of the houses. That's part of the issue. If you're not doing any of that shit, it doesn't make a fucking difference. Cut red tape and make sure we build more housing faster. They're going up pretty fast. Like, I wouldn't blow too hard on any of the houses. So I don't know what they're talking about. Build them faster. Penalize firms that hoard available homes, drive up prices for local home buyers. Rent is too high. We'll sign legislation to outlaw new forms of price fixing by corporate landlords. Okay. As more new homes are built, affordable housing and supply increase. Vice President will provide first-time house buyers with up to $25,000 to help with the down payments, with more generous support for first-generation homeowners. So not just it's first-time home buyers and first-generation home buyers. So you're 30% of the people that trying to get into the housing market, that's who it's going to help. Lessen that with the first-generation homeowners. See, there's pros and cons to like this. I like the fact the corporate land lords or whatever can't do price fixing. All right, that's cool. That needs to happen. But if you let the market dictate, the market could actually make it higher for rent than what the corporate landlords are doing. Because when you got supply and demand, well, if they take and if the rent's at $2,500 a month for a 3-bedroom, and someone comes along and it's a hotly contested place, like, I'll give you $3,000. Well, you just reset the market right there. Grow a small business and invest in entrepreneurs. All right. It favors Democrats in large cities. It favors Democrats in large cities. I'll say this: I've never seen as much early voting as what I've seen this year, this election. Never, never. This the last election there was early voting and there was a lot more absentee ballots than what I'd seen previously. But this year, I've never seen so many people vote early. There were lines for the early voting. I've never seen that. It's always a day of, or maybe the week before, but you didn't have lines. You weren't waiting for an hour and a half to be able to take and vote early. My wife had to take and go to two different polling places because the first place that she's going to take and go to, it was like an hour's wait. And the second place, they still waited 30 minutes. I've never seen that. Never seen that before. So, vote Chase Oliver. Okay. Okay. What freedoms? If you're talking about abortion, that's a state issue. That's not a federal issue. Abortion's a personal policy point. Women can vote, women can own land, women can work, women can do everything. It's only certain states that they've taken restricted abortion. Not only that, due to the fact that the federal courts, the Supreme Court, took and overturned Roe v. Wade and kicked it back to the states where it should have been the first time, due to thanks to the Ninth and Tenth Amendments of the U.S. Constitution. This whole we're fighting for women's freedom is absolute fucking horseshit. It's one fucking issue. They've got freedom. Don't even. That's stop being intellectually dishonest. Stop it. Stop it. Joey, cheers for you. Bassy, what's up, homie? A lot of people are going to be irate later. FYI, Kamala coming in hot. I don't care for her, but she's going to win it easily. I don't know if she's going to win easily. The polls are showing a lot closer. Like even the New York Times, like it's basically a dead heat. So the whole Russian-Ukraine war and the fact that so many politicians are so gung-ho. We've got so many war hawks in Congress. It's frightening. That's one of my issues. That's one of the things that scares me to death. The problem is I think Harris is worse. And that's saying a lot. Like again, I don't. Let's see. Why punish rich people with more taxes? At one point in time, we had 95% income tax rate on the top 1% of this country, right? We had a flourishing economy, but we also had more industry since industry have started taking and going overseas. When it started going overseas, a lot fewer investments were happening. So well, I guess I don't know how you raise enough revenue to take and get out of $31 trillion in debt, but he deported more, and there was also more that came across the border under Obama than under anybody but Biden. Look at the DH, because that's one of the things he deported a hell of a lot of people. He's the one that took and set up the cages and stuff like that initially, that everybody took and blamed Trump on. That was under Obama, but he took and deported a shit ton of people. However, there's a whole lot more people coming across the border under him, hundreds of thousands, and there's even more that's been coming across the border under Biden. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. The thing is, everybody takes and goes to January 6th. There was 80,000 people at the Capitol on January 6th. 2,000 people took and got inside. After they were inside, they were led around by the Capitol Police. Not only that, thanks to congressional hearings and stuff like that, the FBI had agitators in the crowd. 2,000 people. If 2,000 people out of 80,000 in insurrection, motherfucker, I got fucking water. I've got a oceanfront property in Arizona to sell your ass. Like that was not an insurrection. If that's an insurrection, then what the fuck was Minneapolis and fucking Portland, especially Portland, where a whole goddamn 3 city blocks got taken over? That's fucking horse shit. They already pay more. So you're going to tell me if you made more money, you aren't going to take and use loopholes to take and pay as little as possible? Bull crap. If I made $80 million a year, I'm already in a higher tax bracket. I'm at like 39-40%. So $80 million, 40% of that, that's, let's see, half of 80 is 40. So just what, 30 something million dollars? If I can use loopholes to take and pay 15 instead of 30, why wouldn't I? Are you kidding me? Shit. Anybody that says they wouldn't is either lying or they're crazy. One of the two. What's up? I'll be honest. I don't really care who wins. I'm more interested in the House and the Senate. If the House flips to Democrat and Harris wins, it's going to be interesting 4 years. If Trump wins and the Senate flips to Republican, it's going to be an interesting 4 years. See, here's my stance. All right. And this is why I'm independent, because I don't like everything that the Republicans claim, and I don't like everything that the Democrats claim. They're both fucktards on a lot of shit. All right. Even the subject of abortion. I personally, I don't think it's right. However, I don't think a woman should be denied that if she wants to. If you take a look at the stats by the Guttmacher Institute, which CDC uses, 97% of abortions are done due to financial instability and because a woman just wants to fucking get rid of it. 97%, those two reasons. The last 3%, just over 2% is due to health reasons, and less than like 0.4% is due to incest or rape. So if it's due to financial, or if it's due you just don't want it, at the very least, I have no problem if you want to take it. It's not, as long as I'm not paying for it out of my tax money, I have no problem when you have the ability to go get an abortion at all. You're the one that has to take and live with whatever comes from that. You're the one that has to take and pony up whatever to take and go get that done. I have no problem with that whatsoever, because I'd rather that than a woman taking use a coat hanger or a backstreet doctor, where her health could really be impacted. That's my personal stance on that. Do I think it's right? No, because bodily autonomy goes out the window once you get pregnant. You can call it a massive cells or whatever, but you take and kick a dog that's pregnant, you take and kill the puppies in it, you're going to fucking jail. Why is that? Because the dog was pregnant, you killed the fucking puppies. It's animal abuse, and it lost puppies. So Shouldn't we have the same fucking courtesy to a human fucking baby? If not, I'd like to explain your logical fallacy. Why is it the fact that you take and kill a pregnant woman in 90% of the fucking states in this country, you get charged for not only her death, but the death of that baby? So if it's just a clump of cells, please, please, for the love of God, take and rectify this fucking logical fallacy you want to take and throw at me. Otherwise, it is what it, call it like it is. 97%, either they don't want it or financial instability. So either you're poor, in a bad situation, you made a choice that maybe you shouldn't have by not using protection, or you just don't want to have the consequence of having the kids and opening your fucking legs. So that's the only thing as far as the issue for women's freedom that's on the that people are claiming is on the ballot. But again, that's a state issue, not federal. So there's that. As far as immigrants are concerned, if you're only breaking of the law was coming here illegally, you haven't broken any other laws and coming here illegally. You've been trying to take in work, you've been taking in and contributing to the economy and to the society of where you live, and your only law broken was coming here illegally. Pathway to citizenship. Because the thing is, it's going to cost too much to take and round up all the people that are here illegally, number one. Number two, you take and do that. Good luck finding scaffolders. Good luck finding enough framers. Good luck finding enough fucking concrete finishers. Good luck finding enough asphalt people. Good luck finding enough of a lot of fucking skilled tradespeople. That's all I'm going to say. So if that's the only law you've broken, by all means, pathway to citizenship. However, you're here illegally, and you broke a couple of laws, and you're in a sanctuary city or state, your ass needs to get the fuck back to where you come from. Simple as that. Doing good, man. How about yourself? It's been a minute since I've seen you. Oh, you that I'd like to know where the racist thing it was whenever he was being given awards by the NAACP, and he was taking and sticking up for Mike Tyson, and he was taking and doing a whole lot of stuff for underprivileged communities. Where was the race card being pulled whenever black first time business owners weren't taking and getting loans from the banks, and they were told to go to Trump, he'll take and give you a loan, and most of them didn't have to pay the fucking money? Where the fuck was the race card then? That's my thing. And the whole thing with the Charlottesville, the people, there's good people on both sides. He wasn't talking about the protesters. That shit was edited. I wish, and maybe I need to take and go find it, but you take and read it. Read the whole fucking thing. That was taken out of fucking context. 100 fucking %. And as far as the animals and stuff like that, whenever you've got Nicaraguan, El Salvadorian, and Colombian gang members coming here and cutting people's fucking heads off, yeah, they're fucking animals. Simple as that. He's not calling every immigrant that. He's talking about the gang. Like, so much is taken out of context with him. The racist thing, you want to take and claim anything racist, go back when him and his daddy were slumlords. And they had lawsuits brought against them. That, all right, cool. I go with you on that one. This other stuff that's been taken out of context, like our media likes to do, nah, because they can't take and show anything fully in context that'll take and make him out to take and be the racist they take and claim he is at all. So I have not. Wait, to find that though. Taking and lowering taxes for small business owners, taking and doing middle class tax cuts, There's a lot of fucking policies he's talked about. It's just what's projected is the immigration policy because it's such a hot button topic thanks to Biden's administration. Let's see. Oh yeah. Here we go. More of this. Take on bad actors and bring down costs. Attorney General Kamala Harris took on big banks to deliver for homeowners, set up for veterans, and students being scammed by for-profit colleges and fought for workers and seniors who were defrauded. As president, she would direct her administration to crack down the anti-competitive practices that let big corporations jack up prices and undermine the competition that allows all businesses to thrive while keeping prices low for consumers. She will go after bad actors who exploit an emergency to rip off. See, that I agree with, but there's already federal law in place for that, and there's also state laws in place. They're called they're gouging laws. You can't take and gouge people during times of emergency, and if you do, that's a felony. That's already in place. Let's see. Bad actors deploy emergency rip-off consumer by calling for the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging on food and groceries, which build on the anti-price gouging statutes already in place in 37 states. Just as she did it, vice president, she'll take on big pharma to lower drug prices and cap insulin costs. Trump did that his first go-round. He took and negotiated with the big pharma to take cap insulin at $35. I just foreseen it for all Americans, and she'll keep fighting to bring down prescription costs by taking on pharmacy middlemen who raise consumer prices for their own gain. How about kick the big pharma lobbyists out of fucking Washington completely? Like that'll take and help with some of that. I'm not opposed to that, but strengthen and bring down the cost of health. Yeah, how are you going to do that? As senators, okay, Affordable Care Act. Let's have a conversation about the Affordable Care Act because it did help a lot of people. Affordable Care Act helped a lot of people that had pre-existing conditions that couldn't previously get covered. All right, so I have no ifs, ands, or buts. That's a good thing. The problem is the price that incurred because of Obamacare. Before Obamacare, for family insurance, $125 a fucking month. After Obamacare, $125 a fucking week, and that's the low end. If you went through the damn exchanges, the bronze plan, $9,000 or $15,000 for the deductible. So you had to pay $15,000 for everything to be covered. That's untenable. Not only that, the price $80 under a bronze plan or $70 under a bronze plan with federal subsidies. Those federal subsidies after year one come out of your fucking taxes. So whatever tax you might take and be entitled to, things the child tax credit and paying too much into the federal government, so you get a tax refund check or whatever. That money that subsidy was taken out of that. That didn't help as much as it. You could just make it to where you can't. You would help people by making it to where you cannot deny people for having pre-existing conditions. Problem solved. I know folks that had $100 a fucking week, $250 is what their stuff went up to. They had to take and drop their fucking health insurance. It's the price before and after Obamacare is absolutely insane. Oh, hold on one sec. I got an alarm going off. All right. Remove, present. All right. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Historical income tax rates. Share. Total top tax rate. 1944, 94%. 1945 to 1963, 91%. 92 to not 42 to 43, 88%. 41, 81%. It was 90%, over 90% until 63. 64 is a 76. Yes, we were over 90% tax rate. We were over 90% tax rate. Yes. For the top income tax earners. Yes, we were. What's up, El Doof? To be honest with you, to me it don't matter. I like Trump's policies better. So for me, Trump, but it's not by a whole lot. I promise you that. Because there's a lot of stuff that I don't like. But that goes for both ways. So yeah, 31 trillion is absolutely insane. Why would I vote by mail? My wife gets home. I'm going up here to my voting place to take and vote. 5 minutes up the road. Like, you vote by mail if you're going to be out of state or if you're military and you're out of country. Supporting rich people. Let me ask you, see, this is my thing with the whole, oh, you support rich people. You've got Elon Musk is supporting Trump, so he's a billionaire. But you've got Bill Gates, Bezos, Buffett, Warren. I can rattle off another half dozen, all Democrats. You think they're not profiting off of, regardless of who's fucking in? It doesn't matter who the fuck the president is. The only thing that's different depending on the president is how much they're willing to invest because of the tax rate. That's it. That's it. So, and their investment rate and whatever they invest winds up helping the economy down the fucking road. Like, that's the only thing. That's the only difference. That's not going to take. It doesn't. That's not going to change regardless of who gets in, homie. Like, that's not going to change. So he got. Lord have mercy. All right, that's from 2017, and this is going to be straight from CNN. Congress paid out $17 million in settlements. Here's why we know so little about that money. Two things become painfully clear on Capitol Hill this week. Lawmakers and staffers say sexual harassment is rampant, but even members of Congress have no idea just how widespread the problem is. Female lawmakers making fresh allegations of sexual harassment against unnamed members who are currently in office in the unveiling of a new bill on Wednesday to change how sexual... $17 million in fucking hush money. Don't fucking come at me with the whole criminal thing. It was a fucking sham bullshit thing, man. 100% Our whole fucking thing is absolutely fucked. You think he's the only one that used fucking campaign money? You're absolutely insane on that. Like, bro, and that's from 2017. Let's see, how many... So that's that whole thing is just it's crazy. It's not their bodies. Once you're pregnant, that's no longer your body. You've got a body growing inside of your body. That's not actually your body. So that goes out the window. And again, please present to me anything that makes sense for the logical fallacy of the reason why pregnant women, you get two charges, because for the woman, one for the woman and one for the unborn baby. Again, present to me the logical fallacy on how it's the woman's body, because if that's the case, you'd only have one charge. I'm waiting to hear that. Again, enough. Stop with the intellectual dishonesty on here. Jesus. What's up, El Doof? Thank you. I didn't realize I was so far down. Oh my God. Law and Order Party looks over felonies. If Kamala had felonies and baby daddies like Trump has it, they would bring it up constantly. Homie, I'm not even. I just tell you to take a look at the laws in fucking New York City and goddamn San Francisco and LA, and how their crime rates have gone down, but they've also taken and done away with charging crime. Like, don't even with that. Don't even. Come on now. And the thing about it is, like, she's being dinged on other stuff, like her record as Attorney General, like locking people up that were innocent, or specifically one person that was innocent, but also keeping people in longer than what they were supposed to. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. So I voted for the first time in that election and voted for Bush. Halfway through his second term, it's like the pendulum and the rhetoric and the ideologies started shifting and polarizing so much more. Like, I thought I knew things were going to take and become more hot button as we went along with Obama and the claim against his legitimacy and everything like that. I was like, bro, we are in for some wild stuff ahead. Like, it's crazy. Trump doesn't want, and see, that's the thing. Trump doesn't. He's done said it's up to the states. He personally wouldn't ban abortion. Like that's the thing that gets me with the whole. Oh, we're voting. Well, you're not voting if you're voting against Trump simply because of abortion. Well, you're voting against him for the wrong fucking reason. I mean, he's done said it's up to the states now, thanks to Roe v. Wade being overturned. But he has no. And there's a lot of people who have shown, like, there's been laws that have been passed, like what, Nebraska, women can be taken to court for fucking miscarriages. Like it's in, some of the laws have been insane. Like some of it's like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And see, one of the reasons why the prices of gas have gone down in the last 6 months is the Biden administration basically open season on drilling. Like they've been handing out drilling permits like crazy, is my understanding. Whereas the first 2.5, 3 years, 3.5 years of his presidency, it was a no-go, no new drilling permits for fracking or any new wells or anything like that. Now everything's been opened up. One of the other things that isn't talked about with Trump is everybody's like, oh, gas was so low. The national average of price of gas under Trump was like $2.59 a gallon until until everybody was basically forced to stay home due to COVID. Then it dropped to around $1 and sometimes below $1. And everybody forgets the fact that the price of oil traded negatively because of Saudi Arabia and Russia having basically a pricing war. And it took the price of a barrel of crude down to less than $1. So it was trading at negative prices. Everybody forgets that fact under him. But the problem is the stuff that's been enacted by Biden, and immediately after he was elected, people, not only did people go back to work because suddenly COVID is no longer a thing because, oh, you got the jab and you should be safe from it, before they figured out you weren't safe from it. But people went back to work, so it opened up and prices went higher. But also Biden didn't try to take and continue with OPEC, because Trump, OPEC, hey, produce more oil, produce more oil, produce more oil. So not only did we take and stock up our national reserve, but also it was near record level production for OPEC, and that stopped once Biden got in. So yeah, I'm see it's coming in. It's been a while since I've had stuff go this quick. Blake, cheers, homie. See, the thing is, Neil, it's 0.4% of all abortions are due to that reason. 0.4%. So it's not as big of a thing as they make it out to be. Fortunately. Unfortunately, we've still got 0.4%. And I agree with you. I wouldn't take and ban it for that either. And risk to the mother is like 3%. So it's like 3% of cases, because of the advances in medicine in the last 60 years, is there an actual risk to the mother's health as far as childbirth being the case. So let's see. There's name calling on both sides. Like, that's one of the things I cannot stand with the modern elections and modern politics. It's name calling on both sides. It's one of the things that drives me up a wall is Republicans going, oh, the left, the cancel culture. I'm like, aren't you the same motherfuckers that want to boycott Target and Budweiser and all these other fucking and AB and Bev and all these other fucking places because they put stuff in their stores or put stuff on their cans or got an influencer you don't like, but they're part of the cancel culture? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like, they're both just as fucking guilty. Like, that's one of the things I cannot stand is this hypocrisy from both sides, taking and going, oh, you're this or you're that, where they're both equally as guilty on all the same bullshit. It's like, bruh, what the stop with that. Both sides get triggered easily. Both sides do. Like, To say otherwise is crazy. I hate to say this, but here, no, MAGA are not worse. They're just as bad. The problem is they want to call people communists, whereas on the other side you get called a bigot, racist, transphobe, homophobe, fucking everything that people want to call each other, fascist. It's lost all meaning at this point because we've heard it from both sides so fucking much. It's lost all fucking meaning. If I hear somebody get called a racist now, I'm like, well, what the fuck did they say? And I go look for entire context of everything because everything's so taken out of context here in this country anymore. Like same thing with he's homophobic. I go looking to see what the comment was that got them called that shit because I don't believe it. I don't believe it anymore because it's so overdone on both sides of the fucking aisle. No, sweetheart, they're fucking not. I hate to tell you that. They're not. At all. Most are not transphobe. There are some that are. But that's on both sides. Hands fucking down. Yeah, the people that, if you're going to be if you do the work and stuff like that, you're going to be out of your state, or if you're in the military, you're going to be out of country, you can take and do the absentee voting or the mail-in voting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, well, for y'all, using the word cunt is like second nature. Over here, you hear the word cunt, and people still want to take and clutch their pearls and twist, get their panties in a twist and stuff like that. You take in here Nazi, transphobe, fucking homophobe, communist. You labeled it. You want to use whatever fucking label. It's lost all fucking meaning these days. I think the only word that can still get people pissed off is somebody using the N-word that shouldn't be using the N-word. And that's nice to see, thank God. Because the rest of it's like, let me go taking who said what because they're being called this. And it's just lost all fucking meaning for the most part. 7 p.m. Homie, I've got to take in. It's asking me for two-factor authentication. I've never set that up, so it's aggravating. That's the reason why I haven't been able to play. The hard T. Yeah, cunt is one of the only words that I hear the letter T being actually used in words over there. No, Lord have mercy. Right? So at this, and the thing is, like at this point, just taking a look, and we won't really start having numbers come in for. We won't have numbers coming in for states as far as winning and losing until after 7 when the polls close. So after 7, after I get back from voting, I'm gonna take and go as long as possible, probably until I'm ready to pass the fuck out and go to sleep because I'm a fuddy duddy, old fogey, and normally I'm in bed by 8:30. But I'm gonna take and once I get back from once my wife gets home and I'm able to take and go up there, cast my vote, and come home. I'm gonna take and do another stream, and we'll take and go, and we'll take and follow live time as the states are taken and called for whichever candidate. We probably there's a good chance we won't know anything. There's a chance we won't know anything for a day or two, depending on what state and when and how close things are. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Pick a crook, any crook. Georgia and North Carolina are going to be counted fast. I think so too. Thought the polls close in 4 days. Nope, they closed this evening. Yeah, it's crazy. I wish I was. I wish I was. I promise you, whenever I take and come back from voting, I'm probably going to take and smoke a little bit and might be a little bit enhanced whenever I take it to the evening stream. How is the elections being covered where y'all are at? That's my question. I haven't even thought about that because here we've been having campaigning for the last 3 years basically, thanks to Trump, but it's been really hot and heavy since about last November. Fanny Jackal, Lord have mercy. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my opinion on that because there was some stuff last election that I've seen that I've never seen before, like the bringing in ballots out of the back of vehicles, 12th hour and shit. Like I'd never seen anything like that before. Normally, everything's already in one place in the counties and they're being counted, and all of the ballots have already been collected. They're there to be counted. Like even the hanging chat incident, there was no ballots found anywhere. So right, that's my see. That's my concern. It doesn't matter, regardless of who wins. That's my concern is the whole civility part of it because we've seemed to have lost. This is the most divided I've seen it in my lifetime, and the only time I've ever read about the politics being as polarized as they are right now was the election that led to the Civil War back in the 1860s. It's it's insane, and the rhetoric on both sides is just as freaking hot and heavy as what it was then. Except this go around, we're not. It's not over slaves. It's about which candidate and which ideology you prefer. That person isn't running, unfortunately. We don't have the person I feel is best for everyone running in for any party. So I'm voting on which policy I think is going to take and help us out the most, at least in the interim, before this whole bullshit starts up another 3 years from now. Again, to me, I'm going to be voting more on I'm being more focused. Really, I'm more interested to see how the House and the Senate races go because for me, in my opinion, if Democrats take the House and they keep the Senate and Harris wins, we're more likely to take and see stuff like cannabis legalization, which should happen nationwide. Here in my state, I wouldn't mind a flip of a seat or two because they won't even take and vote on legislation of it here. It keeps getting, and we've had it's Republican senators here that bring it up within our state Congress. So a seat or two being flipped, they'd actually take and hear it and can be put to a referendum. That's something that needs to happen. That way people can have it medicinally, or if they want to take and do it recreationally, it'll take and help so many people. It's the most effective way to get people off stuff like fucking opioids. It's most I prefer it over fucking alcohol. Like for me, that's my only thing that I really give two shits about as far as um other than prices coming down is we need to take and get that shit legalized. We need to take and stop putting people in jail for a fucking plant that you can grow in your back fucking yard. I'm not even gonna bullshit. Because to be honest with you, until we can get the people, the lobbyists out of Washington, it doesn't really matter who wins the House. It doesn't matter who wins the Senate. It doesn't matter who wins the presidency. They're writing our policies for us. So we get big pharma out of this shit, or if we can take and get something like that passed, and along with economic policy to where we have prices start coming down and we don't have hyperinflation, you start putting that, and that's my concern with the price controls that Harris has talked about with housing and as far as groceries are concerned and stuff like that. You're going to wind up having you can't cap stuff like that. You cap the pharmaceuticals for people, jobs, and buying power will take and lessen the cost of stuff like housing, because once you take and have a robust economy, you start taking and having interest rates at a healthy level. That's how that shit's leveled out. It's not by price caps. It's not by all this other bullshit. So, ugh. I completely agree, David. And see, I'll be honest with you. I wish we would cut our defense budget in half. Just cut it in half. And put money towards not only our healthcare system, but also rehabilitation for the people that have been affected by the opioid crisis in this country. Take and decriminalize some of these drugs. Take and reschedule some of these drugs. Right? So make it to where the sentencing of them is you take and go to rehab. You take and go, and it's a year mandatory rehab at the very least, and then you go to a halfway house, and you find a job within an allotted amount of time. If you don't take and have a relapse, and you don't take and commit any more crimes, and you find a job and you become a productive member of society, your sentence is commuted. Your sentence is, unless you take and mess up within a certain amount of time, your sentence is commuted, because otherwise we're going to have the recidivism for this stuff is going to stay the same. Not only that, prohibition of anything doesn't work. It just doesn't. Yes, it happened under both parties, 100%. 100%. Everybody can claim with the border and stuff, and having the border open the way it is doesn't help anything. But taking and placing blame over one party instead of the other does not take and do anything, and it does not take and it's bullshit. Because we had under Bush, we had Big Pharma taking and pushing stuff like Oxycontin, Loratab, and fucking Percocets for fucking knee pain and goddamn headaches. So, yeah, 100% with you on that. Cleaning the grinder now. I hear that, homie. Yes, Laz, it is batshit crazy. 100%. 100%. No, I mean, I completely get it. I completely get it. Right? Let's see. Let me bring this back over because let me see what the rest of our policies are. All right, so let me present this again. Share screen, share screen. More Harris's shit. we were on the bring down the cost of healthcare, so we left it off the Affordable Care Act. Harris will make affordable healthcare a right, not a privilege, by expanding and strengthening the Affordable Care Act. How about just taking and cut the military budget and start instituting a way to have a blended system? It would make more sense. It would just, anyways. Making permanent the Biden-Harris tax credit enhancements that are lowering healthcare premiums by an average of $800 a year from millions of Americans. I did not see a bit of that, but okay. She built on the Biden-Harris administration's success in bringing down the cost of life-saving prescription drugs for Medicare beneficiaries by extending the $35 cap on insulin and $2,000 cap on out-of-pocket spending for seniors to all Americans. Her tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act. That Inflation Reduction Act had so much fucking pork. There's a reason why that shit was fucking so damn deadlocked. Oh my God, it was so loaded with pork. A lot of it to do with green energy, and it wouldn't have taken it. None of it had to do with reducing actual fucking inflation. That's the reason why you had to have a tie-breaking vote. That right there. That's another reason why it doesn't take and give me much hope with her. Accelerate negotiations to cover more drug and lower prices for Americans. Also announced medical debt will be removed from credit reports. Okay, now that will fucking help. That will help. I don't think medical debt should be on credit reports. That's a civil matter. That's between you and whatever fucking hospital or medical provider. Helped cancel $7 billion of medical debt for 3 million Americans. As president, she'll work with states to cancel medical debt for even more Americans. Vice President Harris the issue with that is going to be you're going to have to take and give massive tax cuts to these healthcare places, like massive fucking tax cuts. So it's a dual-sided edge on that thing, because unless you do that, prices are going to rise for medical costs, because they've had all this money that people owe that has just now been forgiven. Like that gets unless you take and actually give them tax subsidies, that gets passed down to the fucking consumer. That gets passed down to the people that need medical care. Let's see. Vice President Harris led the administration efforts to combat maternal mortality. Women nationwide are dying from childbirth at higher rates than any other developed nation. Called on states to extend Medicare postpartum coverage from 2 months to 12. Today 46 states do so, from just 3 near the mess. Okay. Protect and strengthen Social Security and Medicare. Protect Social Security and Medicare against relentless attacks from Donald Trump and his extreme allies. She will strengthen. Both of y'all take money from fucking Social Security and Medicare. Stop with that bullshit. That's fucking political speak. That's all the fuck that is. Both parties have taken from both. Like that's fucking stupid. Support American innovation and workers. Working with President Biden, Vice President Harris helped pass landmark legislation to bipartisan infrastructure law, CHIPS and Science Act, the Inflation Reduction Act. Again, that didn't do a fucking thing. The American Rescue Plan that has supported more than 60,000 infrastructure projects, spurred more than $900 billion in private sector investments and doubled investments. They've set aside $900 billion for private sector investments. So the problem with the infrastructure law and the American Rescue Plan, because part of that was getting broadband internet coverage to everywhere in the U.S. It's a right. They're not paying out to contractors, and contractors are dropping out from doing it. So you might have $900 billion earmarked for it, but you're not paying the shit out. That's part of the problem. It's included investing billions to help connect all Americans. You're not paying out. People, I know people that work for fucking Comcast and a local fucking place around here that has stopped expanding stuff because at least they stopped expanding as fast as they were wanting, as fast as they were going to, because they haven't received any money. So they're basically going off what they bring in and state money. They're not taking it, and the state's not taking and getting anything. I know people who work for Comcast and fucking Verizon and stuff, and a lot of the subcontractors, because they're not doing it. They're not getting the money. Like that's a problem. Not only that, same thing for some of these roads and stuff like that. That'd be covered under the Infrastructure Act, that would get money from the Infrastructure Act. Like there's a lot of stuff So they release that 900 billion. It takes and frees up, and it'll create some jobs, but they just haven't taken and done it the way they've said. More than 1.6 million manufacturing and production jobs have been created. And no, they haven't. 1.6 million Americans got back to work after fucking COVID because people were allowed to go back to fucking work. Don't even fucking go there. That's a fucking half truth. That's bullshit. It's nowhere close to 1.6 million. And even the job outlooks fucking tells the goddamn story, because there was fewer jobs that were taken and added in September and October than what they fucking were looking for. So don't fucking even. Build on America's the administration's progress to ensure American industries and workers thrive. They were under Trump. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people want him to be reelected, because under Trump, especially a lot of smaller companies did a whole lot better. Not only that, people were working because they invested in small business. They invested in the worker. So, and it's also telling that the union workers, the union bosses are taking and telling their people to take and vote for Harris and Walz. The union workers are for Trump, because Harris is nothing for unions, and Trump helped the unions whenever he was in. So, provide a pathway to middle class to quality, affordable education. A fight to ensure parents can afford high-quality child care and preschool for their children. She will strengthen public education and training as a pathway to the middle class. Continue working to the end to end a reasonable burden of student loan debt. Here's how you get rid of student loan debt. If you go to a public institute in state, you have no fucking tuition, and you don't pay for the fucking books. You just pay for housing. That's it. Because they get enough federal and state fucking funding, and they take and get enough endowments and donations from alumni that if you're in state and you want to go to a public public institute of higher learning, you shouldn't pay a fucking cent. That's how you take and get rid of a lot of the fucking student debt. That right there. Now, if you want to take and go to a private institute, it's a little bit different. That's on you. Fuck me. That's how you take it. But this stuff that people got into, if you take and you forgive all that debt, again, it's going to be passed down somewhere else. That's how this shit works. It's economics 101. Invest in affordable child care and long-term care. Cast a deciding vote in the American Rescue Plan, which made a historic investments in the care economy. Fight to lower care costs for American families, including by expanding high-quality home care services for seniors, people with disabilities, and ensuring hardworking families can afford high-quality child care, all while ensuring that care. Well, we have yet to take and see anything with the child care, because around here, take and have my two kids in any of the child care programs. At the school, it would be $600 a fucking month. Taking and using another, either a public or a private child care place for after school and stuff like that, it would be $1,500 to fucking $3,500 a month. That's for after school care. So where is that going to take and come? When's that being come down the pipeline, since you already passed the shit? See, that's, again, this is more political stuff. They touting stuff that they've done that has not, there's no net benefit thus far. And the thing is, you can take and go, well, for low income. Well, low income already take and get vouchers for childcare. So they already don't fucking pay. So again, where's that money going? Low energy costs and tackle the climate crisis. Won tens of millions in settlements against big oil and held polluters accountable. Cast a tie-breaking vote to pass the Inflation Reduction Act, the largest investment in climate action in history, which means higher fucking cost. That's all the fuck that means. Because there's still a lot of places around here that they can use coal power. Why? Because it's fucking cheap and efficient. And the problem is, so many fucking coal miners are being put out of fucking work. And guess what? There's no recourse for them because there's no taking and learning an IT job as they fucking tell them to do. They're just out of fucking work. It helps no fucking body. And it... Short work is lowering household energy costs. No, it's not. Creating hundreds of thousands of high-quality, clean energy jobs, which cost fucking more, and use components that are provided or made using those same fucking things that you're as president, she will unite Americans to tackle. She won't unite Americans to tackle no fucking climate crisis. Fucking insane. Half the fucking country don't believe in that. What the fuck? Environmental justice. Go after polluters 100%. Protect public lands and public health. Oh, so you're going to take and go back on a lot of more water rights that the farmers in this country are taking and dealing with right now. Okay, lovely. Increase resilience to climate disasters. How the fuck are you going to do that? Lowers household energy costs, creates complete fucking bullshit. That's what the fuck that is. Complete fucking bullshit. Complete fucking bullshit. That's what that whole shit was. Complete fucking bullshit. Because our infrastructure right now, the problem is with like the new Green Deal, they want to take and do away with all coal and fucking natural oil type stuff by 2030. But they've got nothing in fucking place to take and actually replace it, or how to take and how to go about it. Nothing. And the more they take and shut down these coal burning plants, which have to take and already take and jump through hoops because of carbon emissions and stuff like that, and have to take and had to have millions and millions of dollars of investment to ensure that they take and meet EPA fucking regulations. All they're doing is jacking the fucking price of energy up more. So, like, it's crazy. Right to live their life without fear or discrimination. Everybody should have that right. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. Like, throughout history, that's not the case. For a lot of fucking people, for a lot of different fucking groups. Like, you should not take and bully, you should not take and discriminate against, you should not take and use violence against anybody that is trans or part of the LGBT community. 100%. That is fucking wrong. And anybody that does so should be criminally prosecuted. However, a trans woman should not win Woman of the Year. She's born male. So there's some stuff that people don't like, and it's being pushed because of that. That's the reason why there's so much blowback. You did not see the kind of blowback that the trans movement is getting whenever the gay people were trying to take and get the right to take and marry, and trying to take and have a lot of rights that they didn't have before. So there's a reason why there's blowback on some of this, Jess. Like, hands down. I agree with you. You should be able to take and live your life without fear of discrimination. But let's be intelligent about some stuff. If there's a trans woman wanting to take and compete in women's sports, which means she was born a male and she's wanting to take and compete with women, she should not be allowed to fucking do it. At all. Musculature, bone structure, everything. Physiological makeup, completely different. I don't give a fuck what hormones you take and put someone on for how fucking long. You still have a physical advantage. So There are things that need to take and change. I have no problems. You should be able to take and live without fear or discrimination. But you shouldn't be taking and putting trans people in places that there's a reason why here in the U.S. we have Title 11. There's a reason why men and women's sports are separated. A trans woman taking and competing in swimming or competing in boxing or competing in wrestling or competing in any sport against another woman is unfair to the women that came before that fought for the right for that space for themselves from males. You know what? I'm not even going to get into it because you have your set, you have your viewpoint. The fact of the matter is, if you're born male, I have no problem. If you feel as if you're a female and you decide to transition, or if you decide to live your life as, I have no fucking problem with that. Do not go into traditionally female places though, because you haven't earned a fucking right. You didn't fight for that shit. They did. Title 11 was set up in this country for fucking sports, specifically in colleges and stuff like that. Leah Thomas should not have been able to take and participate with the fucking Penn State swim team at fucking all. Why? Because she's a male, born biologically a fucking male. She lives as a female. She's transitioning to female. More power to you. You're trying to take and live your best fucking life, but you didn't take and fight for the right to take and have a sport set aside for you, for your gender, where you were previously unable to take and have that. That's fucking wrong. And putting someone that was born as a male in a female fucking sport that they had to fight for the ability to take and do that sport is fucking wrong on every fucking level. I have no problem with anybody wanting to live their best life at fucking all. At fucking all. So 5-6 years down the road, hormones have taken and done everything as far as reducing their musculature and stuff like that. It's reduced their fucking testosterone down to zero or reduced their fucking estrogen down to zero. And they want, no, you don't take and participate with males and you don't participate with females. If you were born one way or the other. No, absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not. Because it's wrong to take and try to put yourself in a place that has been set aside just because. No, absolutely fucking not. For every other thing, no fucking violence. Take and do you. Take and live your life. You should have no fear of discrimination, but that's not discrimination. That's not discrimination at all. That's a false fucking equivalency is what the fuck that is. I have no problem, but if you're born a female or if you're born a male, if you're born a female and you want to transition male, you want to live as a male, you shouldn't be taking and participating in male sports. If you're a male born and want to transition to a female, you should not participate in fucking female sports because they're set aside. They're set aside. A lot of fucking women fought for the rights that they fucking currently have, and to take and have somebody that was born as a male, and once they die, 100 years from now, are dug up, and their DNA is going to show them as male. They should not have entrance to those places at all. From a sports perspective, if you want to talk about job, if you want to talk about TV, you want to talk about everyday life, the world is your oyster. Do what the fuck you will. Live your life. Get married. They can be successful. You should have no fucking problems. But the whole sports thing, fuck no. And I'm sorry, but a biological male, I don't care if they've transitioned or not, should not win Woman of the Year because biologically they're still male. So you're basically, I mean, women have fought for so many of the rights that they fucking have, and it's a slap in the face to biological women. 100 fucking percent. Neil, I'm just seeing this. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that, man. Hell to the yeah. As of right now, we're not going to take and hear anything as far as what's no states are going to be called until after the polling has closed. So I'm not mistaken, they were intersex, which I want to believe is like 3% of the total global population. So yes, the Rothschilds are winning, regardless of who's elected. Oh lordy. There's no winning and losing in this conversation. There's hey Chihuahua. And this is the reason why I don't take and talk stuff like this most of the time. Yeah, no, it's not a troll channel. Oh, Sam, I hope you have a successful operation. Everything goes smoothly. We'll be sending many positive thoughts and prayers. Well, for what here's the thing. Here's the thing. All right, and Jessica's not being a troll whatsoever. Jessica has she's done a ton of research. All right, and she's got a ton of life experience. So there's a reason why Jessica has the beliefs and the mindset that she has. And I don't fault her for it. I love Jessica to death. She's one of my favorite people within my community. She's been a supporter of me for a long fucking time. I love her to fucking death. All right. So this election right here, one of the things that is a hot topic on both, at least on the Republican side, which I think is fucking stupid, is the trans gender issue, as they fucking call it. There is a lot that has been overblown, but there is a lot that has happened. For me, live your fucking life. Live your fucking life. I have no problems. I have no problems. Live your life. You should not be taken discriminated against. You should not be shown anything but love. Unless you take and show yourself to be an asshole, then well, then you'll be treated like an asshole. But that's kind of like with everybody else, regardless of your fucking race, belief system, or anything of that nature, right? So it's one of those byproducts of this whole thing. Jessica, if I'm not mistaken, there's a volleyball team here that's taken and forfeited because, or the team forfeited because of a male athlete. There's wrestlers that have taken and forfeited because of male athletes. Like it's more than just it's isolated incidents, but it happens. Same thing with track. There's state champions there's state records that have been broken in female track and field, and I'm trying to remember the state. A transgender track and field athlete set two new records for the Rochester Institute of Technology. Sadie Schreider set 200-meter record and qualified for Atlantic Region Championship with a time of 25.27 seconds. Also broke 300-meter record. Sophomore placed first in the 4x400-meter relay as well. Earning Liberty League Women's Track and Field Performer of the Week. So it's something that happens. Like it's a lot of times isolated, but it is a concern for a lot of people. So it's not a phobic thing like you're taking and claiming it is. I think a lot of the other issues are overblown, but the sports. So our elections every 2 years, you're going to take and have an election for your congressional members to take and be sent, and then again, and then every 4 years, you're going to have not only are there going to be senators and representatives that are up for reelection, but also you vote for the president. So All right. So ooh, ooh. I want to come to where you're at, El Doof. Non-biased prediction. I won't be surprised if either. The polls have been so close. Like Trump's led and Kamala's led. Like I won't be surprised either way. Um, I believe because it feels a lot like it did in his first go around in 2016. So I have a feeling it'll be Trump, but if it's Harris, I'm not going to be surprised whatsoever. Ooh, toffee types. Shit, my kids type way quicker than I do probably, and one of them does it with just two fingers. Yeah, I if I'm really ooh a dab pen, I need to take and make a trip. Cherokee, North Carolina. There's a um there's a reservation and they're taking it doing they're selling recreationally. I need to take and go up there. Take and get me a pen and a couple of get about get about a half pound or something. Well, see, here's the thing. Hillary Clinton took and did the same thing. She took and claimed that the election was stolen, and she took and got ahead of that before anything. Like she didn't claim for a long time that she fucking lost. Like, why do you think the whole fucking Russian the Russian dossier thing come about? And that was a Clinton thing. Clinton paid for that shit. So he'll be in a long line of many who have been like, I didn't. It was stolen, or they need recounts, and long line of presidents that have done that shit. All right, all right, all right. Y'all want to debate? Y'all want to debate that? Take it to Discord or something like that. Like that's. I love all y'all. Y'all all have y'all's personal opinions. That's not going to be solved. You're not going to sway each other in the comment section. Like it is what it is. Just agree to disagree and going about your life. Simple as that. Like at this point, like Jessica again has how she feels. And every one of y'all that are taking and doing the debating or arguing, whether y'all all have yours, y'all aren't going to take and convince each other otherwise, and you're not going to take and show either talk anything or show either any anybody either of y'all. None of y'all are going to take and show each other anything that y'all are going to take and accept as truth. So it's all gravy. It's all gravy, bruh. Bruh, there's so much backlash over that. I just people are like, oh, they should rename the band. I'm like, that I thought they should rename the band when they were like, yeah, we got a female singer. I was like, they should just rename it rename it instead of being Lincoln Park, be something else. But there'd be just as much hype because it involves Mike Shinoda and involves Phoenix and Brad. Now Rob Dunn took and left, but it involves and Mr. Hahn. So all it is a new drummer. Brad's still behind the scenes. You got somebody that's taking and touring on guitar, and you got a new singer. It makes no sense because the hype would be the same. I think there's too much blowback. I think it would feel cheesy, and it would feel like they're trying to take and rip off Chester's legacy if they took and went with a Chester clone. That's just my personal opinion. So I want to hear the album when it drops on the 15th before I make a more, more of a decision on it. I like Heavy as the Crown, and I like the new song, Over Each Other. She gives a dynamic that's different. The vocalization and harmonization that's possible with Mike is different than what it was with Chester. The screaming is completely different. Like she's all Fry. Chester had numerous vocal abilities and techniques he was able to take and do, from Fry to fucking straight up guttural to like he just had numerous things he was able to take and do that she clearly can't. But they still sound like Linkin Park. So well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised because the new album From Zero, they said, kind of harkens back to the fact that their first band name. The band's name originally was Zero, but this album come out of basically nothing, and they jammed with multiple different musicians and multiple different singers. So it would not surprise me if after this album and maybe another one, they took and brought in a different singer. I wouldn't be surprised at all because uh, Mike, as a producer and as a visionary for the band, um, like they're able to take and pull off anything they want to, basically. So, all right, yeah, enough of the arguing. Yes, yes, I have done High Ren. I need to take and do a video revisiting High Ren because I took and went into it as a reactor, and I didn't take and see it for the art that it is because every time I've watched it since the initial reaction, like I get something new out of it every time, and it hit a lot closer to home once I took and actually just watched it for the art instead of taking and watching it as a reactor reacting to a song. Yeah, you piss off El Doof. He's one of the more laid back moderators I've got. So if you piss him off and you got him threatening to ban you, simmer down a little bit. He's one of the most chill people I know. Man, they are late as shit at that party. I'll tell you that right now. I had like 3 reactions to Pete and Bass whenever I was taking and doing reactions to music. And they didn't take and have anything for the longest damn time. And now they've got like 3 or 4 songs I haven't reacted to. So well, that's pretty cool. Let's see. I'm trying to take and see exactly what you're. I have to trying to find your channel. Channel. There we go. Copy. So anybody wants to take and support J Bake there? There's his channel. So go show him some love. Show them some love. Seven years. Seven. Need some new content there, there, homie. All right, so I got wifey on the way home. We're not going to take and see any results. I appreciate everybody stopping through. I'm gonna take and this is just part one. After I'll say about probably around 8 o'clock tonight. So about it's gonna be late as fuck for y'all in the UK. I already know it. So like 8. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning y'all's time. If you're up and you're bored and kind of interested to see how things are going, tune back in. I'll definitely I'm gonna take and be live. And I'm gonna take and try to stay live until everything is called. Thank y'all. Y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves. Peace.